Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here today on RJ's Trains. And as you know, one of my pride and joys in my collection is my first responders fire department train headed by CSX 911. And as of right now, I've got 8 cars to go with the train. Well, today we'll be unboxing numbers 9 and 10. Let's get into the video. And here they are. These are the 2 cars that I unboxed. The car on the left is an MTH Rail King tank car, and the car on the left is an MTH Premier 2-bay centerfold hopper. Now, I have been collecting the MTH CSX 911 stuff over the last half year or so, and that's because I've actually seen CSX 911 in person before. In September, it made its way up to the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum in Baltimore, Maryland, and I actually got to see it as it passed through Washington, D.C., and then I also went to go see it at the museum. I was able to actually stand on the locomotive itself, so because of that, I had to pick up the engine, and originally, I didn't think that I would be getting all these fire department freight cars to go along with it, but things happen, and it did, and I'm really glad. I also come from a fire department family. I've grown up around the fire department, so having these in my collection are extra special. But now, let's take a closer look at the cars themselves. So the tank car and the hopper, they're both fantasy paint schemes. The only thing that is actually a real-life item is the locomotive itself. All the other freight cars, and especially these 2 in particular, these are just fantasy paint schemes that MTH made to go along with the engine and the whole 9 yards. Similar to what they do with a lot of products, you know, it's gonna sell. It has a great paint scheme. So, looking at the tank car, on the end we have yellow ends which match the lightning striping on the locomotive itself. Kind of a bold choice because that color isn't used a lot on the engine, but it adds a lot of contrast between the red and white. Personally, I probably would have went with white ends, but the gold looks very good. Then you have the 3 logos of the different first responders corps. So from left to right, you have the EMS, police, and then on the right, fire department. On the white part, we have a nice plastic ladder and some separately applied handrails up on top. We have 911, the engine's number, as well as a nice American flag and a little script writing which says Spirit of Our First Responders, which is also written on the locomotive. And then the CSX Pride in Service logo. Looks very sharp. Now, this is a Rail King model, so it's not built to exactly 1/48 scale dimensions, but it's pretty close, and honestly, the locomotive's Rail King, all the cars are fantasy, so it doesn't bother me that it's not a scale, perfectly detailed car. I can live with it. And now let's get a better look at the 2-bay hopper. Very red, I like that, as well as the lightning stripe. Once again, we have the logos, the EMS, police, fire department, as well as the Spirit of First Responders. And really nice touch including the honoring our first responders down here on the bottom on, I guess, don't want to call it the running board because it's not that, that's the term on the steam locomotive, but on the bottom part there. It's a Premier model, so you have lots of great details, separately applied steps on the step ladder, as well as a nicely detailed top and a lot of undercarriage detail. You know, it's an MTH Premier car. They're very nice. You're paying what you get for. But my favorite personal touch on this car is the inclusion of the 343 up here on the right-hand corner. It's also on the locomotive and a couple of the other CSX 911 freight cars. For those of you who may not be familiar with the number 343, 343 firemen died on 9/11 in the attack on the World Trade Center. And so, especially coming from a fire department family from New York, that number has a lot of significance personally, and I think it's really great that CSX included it on their locomotive. And because they included it on their locomotive, MTH included it on the freight cars. That's definitely one thing that makes me enjoy collecting the CSX units compared to the NS first responder stuff. I'm just more personally drawn to the CSX because of that 343 on the side, and I just think that it also has a better paint scheme, and I've seen it in person. Well, this wasn't going to be a super detailed review just because I'm not the best at reviewing, and these cars have been made before millions of times. You can probably walk into your local hobby store and see some rendition of them sitting in there. They're really cool cars. I'm more or less just reviewing them for the paint scheme, but more than likely you didn't come to see me talk about these cars for 5 minutes. Let's hook them up behind 911 and run them around the layout. But thank you so much everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, but kick back and enjoy the trains run around the layout.
Ready to go? 2, 3, all check out! The fronts are checked out A-OK. Fuel is topped off. Make sure the sand bins are topped off. Alright, I'll check that out. Sand bins are topped off. She's in good shape. Thanks.